Welcome back to our final 10 minutes here, roughly 9 minutes from Chicago. Thom Hartmann here with you, WCPT, helping put this on along with a great group of folks from the Painters District Council 14, IBEW Local 134, Operating Engineers Local 399, Operating Engineers Local 150, UAW Region 4, and Goldberg Weissman Cairo. And so we had a question. Mark, you wanted to share some thoughts on that, and then we're going to go to some more audience questions.
I'd like to touch base on
this is Mark O'Donnell of the Painters.
I'd like to touch base on the Right to Work campaign with virtually everywhere. I think the biggest thing that labor has to do is embrace today's technology, embrace Facebook, Twitter, whatnot. That's today's venue for communication.
Right.
And I think an expansion of that would be a good thing to help educate and bring in more union members. And it can be done in so many ways to expand upon Right to Work and what a union member is all about.
Right. The thing that I learned today that shocked me the most is what you said, Louis, that Karl Rove said that if they could just get union membership below 10%, that would be a tipping point at which unions would lose their political power. Is there evidence of that?
I don't know. I think Ed Maher is one who actually mentioned that earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was sitting right there.
Right. And we look the same. He's only 6 inches taller than me. But you know, every organization, every club, every business, everything has its tipping point. I mean, it just does. You got to push them up. If the 10% is the magical number, then that's the magical number. I mean, and it does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to add anything to that, Bob, before we go to the question?
Yeah. No. What Mark said about communicating via Facebook and Twitter, I do agree we need to be out in mass media, right? We need to be on television wherever we can get it, but people are watching TV differently, right? They're watching it they're streaming more things. We have to figure out how to get there. I will say that if people want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is Bob Reiter Jr., BOBREITER JR, and I spend a lot of time talking about politics and also what the local labor movement's doing here and how we're fighting back. And I don't know if I've expressed this while I've been on your show. I have a hard time containing myself, and I sometimes get a little bit out there. But you know what? That's the kind of labor movement we need, and that's the kind of organizing we need. We need people willing to push the boundaries because we need
to take names and kick ass.
Well, Democrats and progressives, we like to compromise. The other side doesn't. So we just need to start throwing punches.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, our question.
Hi, Tom. Love your show. I've been watching it for years.
Thank
you, WCPT. I listen to all of the shows on WCPT.
That's great.
My name is Sarah Liddell. I'm from Evanston. And I have a question for the rest of the panel there about divestment of fossil fuels and if your pension plans or your investments have looked into that, especially since fossil fuel companies are the ones that are the biggest funders of the Republican Party.
So has the divestment movement for fossil fuels migrated into the organized labor movement?
Yes.
Great question.
Thank you.
Bob?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the folks with the pension fund. You have some unions that are heavily depend on man hours in fossil fuels and making the transition to clean energy. But you do have folks who work on things like that's a priority, divestment and fossil fuels. But not just there. We've been using our pension funds as a way to pressure on people who do non-union building construction and things like that. One of the campaigns, we're going to be dealing with it tomorrow on the day before Veterans Day with the Union Veterans Council and Mondelez, which owns Nabisco, and trying to affect them in the shareholder pocketbook and going after Mondelez on what they're doing to American jobs here by sending them to Mexico and taking advantage of the Mexican workforce. So strategies with pension funds, whether it be an issue where labor has something to do with things around the environment, but certainly on issues that are more directly related to jobs and making sure that we're not investing our money in ways that undermine our ability to earn a fair wage every day.
Lou, do unions still have complete control over pension funds? I remember back in the 60s there was a lot of going back and forth with the UAW and whatnot.
You know, honestly, I'm not the right guy to
Jimmy
ask.
Hoffa. Okay.
I'm not the right guy to ask that question. And Bob could probably address it a lot better because as a tort lawyer, I act in my area of specialization, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Okay.
But I know there's management people and labor people on those pension boards. So
Yeah. Okay. Mark, any answer to her question? Thoughts?
Actually not.
Okay,
I'm not a
great.
pension trustee, and I don't want to say something I don't
that's
want
quite
to say.
right.
But I can tell you the issue, Tom, that you were asking about is what's your ability to do that. And when you look at you sit as a fiduciary, but when you look at investments, you have the ability when all things are when everything else is equal, you get to make a choice on how it impacts your workforce. Otherwise, right? So if as long as you have other investments that are producing the same type of return, you have some flexibility in there. Like we don't need to invest with these people here. We can invest with those people over there. And a lot of these pension funds, they can go to shareholders meetings because they own shares of the company. That's really where you get a lot of powers. When you show up at those meetings and say, "Hey, I want a piece of your company," and you're not doing something that's serving our interests the best. You're undermining our ability to actually raise pension money to invest in your company.
Yeah, remarkable stuff. We just have 25 seconds left here, so I just want to wrap this up. Mark O'Donnell with the Painters, thank you so much for being with us, Mark. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I'd just like to circle back a second for the intersection rally situation here. We do have overwhelming support from the employees there to go union. The company has yet to recognize us. They did send in a couple figureheads in from their
That'd be great.
office.
Well, I got music in my ear. I got a boogie here. Louis Cairo from Goldberg Weissman Cairo. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
Great job, Bob. Bob Ryder, Secretary Treasurer of the Chicago Federation of Labor. All the great folks at WCPT, all the sponsors, all the groups. Thank you so much for being, and everybody, all of you who are here. It's so great to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires you. Tag, you're it. We'll see you tomorrow.